Hey, Ben,
Hey.
imagine this. Imagine a neighbor of yours you're trying to help that's involved in a domestic violence situation,
Mm-hmm.
and you're trying to help her out. You notice bruises and things like that on her body, but she ends up telling you that her boyfriend and her have a dead body in their freezer.
Do what?
That's what we're going to talk about today,
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I can tell you this much. If a neighbor like that told me they had a dead body in the freezer,
right?
or a body in the freezer, obviously is dead, I'd probably dial 911 pretty quick.
Pretty quick, like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be telling on them.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Absolutely. I would
But
too.
a dead body in the freezer.
A dead
And
body
then
in
you're
the
going to talk about it like, well, I
Yeah.
guess we'll hear what made her talk about it, huh?
Yeah, we will.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
All right. First off, where did this happen?
This happened in Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
All right. When
Oak
did it
Ridge.
happen?
This happened in 2019, 2020.
Okay.
So this is a period of time during COVID.
Yeah.
I never heard anything about this until the other day.
Yeah.
And I'm scrolling down through, the news and stuff like that, and I saw this and I was like, holy shit, we're gonna do it. It's graphic. It's very graphic. And everything we're about to tell you is all for educational purposes only.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do your own research on this. Everything's out there. And just do that for yourself,
Yeah. And good luck.
And good luck, because it's very gruesome. And there's things that I'm not going to be able to say through this.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to get started on it.
All right. Let's go.
Let's get into the meat of it.
All right. Let's go.
So on August the 5th of 2020, police get this tip that from a neighbor in an apartment building that there was a body in her neighbor's freezer.
Yeah.
So they show up to this apartment and they find the body of a 36-year-old woman, Jennifer Paxton.
Mm-hmm.
She was a homeless woman, and she's under the bed, thawing and dismembered.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
So, I mean, she was homeless.
Yeah.
But she was from this area.
She was from the area of Oak Ridge, Tennessee, yes.
Yeah. So she had friends and family.
She had family. She had some family. Now, she lived a pretty rough life. Mm-hmm. She was the mother of 7 kids, and all 7 were taken from her by the state. Okay. So she had a rough life, and it got even worse after she lost her kids. Watching this trial, I watched some of her family members come forth and say, she was also an addict, had a rough time, especially after she lost her kids.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about the players in this game.
Well, before you get into that, I want to do something first.
Okay.
So I want to welcome everybody to Walking Between Shadows.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, we're your host. I'm Ben.
I'm Taryn.
And we're glad to have you back. Yeah. I want to remind everybody we appreciate the likes and follows and especially the shares. Mm-hmm. And leave comments. If you know something about this or just have a comment about it, don't hesitate to leave a comment. So don't forget to also smash that notifications bell so you know when we launch new content. We do this because of you, and we appreciate it so much.
Yes, we do. So, Ben, let's talk about the players in this game.
Okay.
Let's do that.
All right.
Why was she at this apartment, okay? So I'm going to take it from the testimony of Rebecca Dishman. Rebecca Dishman and Sean Finnegan had an apartment there in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and were living with Sean's mother as well. This was a 2-bedroom apartment. It kind of looked like an old house, but there was like 4 apartments in this old house looking apartment.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was 2-story. Mother had 1 bedroom. She was supposedly on hospice, and Sean and Rebecca had another bedroom. Now, Rebecca was a lot younger than Sean. She was only 21 at this time. She met Sean on Facebook, and after 2 weeks, she moves in with him. But he's telling her, I'm in my 40s, and okay. And Rebecca had kind of a rough life. I mean, both of her parents died. I believe it was her senior year in high school.
No, they passed away when I was 18.
Do you remember what year that was?
2016.
So is that also about the year you finished high school?
I was a senior. I was in the process of graduating.
And she's just now like 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe she went through boyfriends and a couple family members' homes after her parents died, but really didn't have anywhere to call home.
Yeah.
So she meets Sean on the internet, on Facebook, and he's telling her, I'm in my 40s and this hot guy, I'm going to take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up being 51. So 30 years difference between the two. But she moves in. Rebecca says at first it's good. He makes her feel safe and welcomed and like a girlfriend. But she didn't have a job. She didn't have a car. I don't even think she had her own phone.
Mm-hmm.
And Sean worked quite a bit. He worked at a bar in Knox County. And it was, he was there from like 5 in the afternoon till 5 a.m. in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Long time.
Yeah.
He's at this bar. And she would use his phone to get on Facebook. And she messaged, I guess she was on there putting up a post or something, and her ex-boyfriend gets on Facebook and it sends her all these messages, okay? So Sean finds out about it, and then he tells her there's consequences for that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she said she knew he was going to be into kinky, intercourse, but
He had a red room in his house.
I don't think so. There's only 2 bedrooms. His mom's in one and he's in the other.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But he was still, he came across as one of these kind of nasty guys.
Just gross,
S&M, that kind
right.
of stuff.
And some of the neighbors described him as like the look in his eye.
Yeah.
It's like a wild animal. They never wanted to have anything to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
One of Sean Finnegan's neighbors told WATE about how he was scared of Finnegan.
He's just, those eyes, just like a wild animal. And he cursed me, and I said, I don't want anything to do with that guy.
And Rebecca claims that she was a stay-at-home girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That takes away a lot of power. I don't know what you got going for yourself, but not much. She's dependent on him for everything.
Mm-hmm.
But he catches her ex-boyfriend sending these messages, and he punishes her.
Mm-hmm.
And okay. So he forced her to wear dog collars and crawl around on all fours.
Mm-hmm.
He would put her in a dog kennel.
What?
Yeah. And every bodily function or fluid you can imagine, he would put on her.
All his excrement wound up on her.
Everything.
Oh.
And he would take photos. And these photos were shown in court last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. She's going through this. And he called, look, it's pretty bad. She goes by his little girl, and she calls him daddy. So, yeah. And 30 years difference. It makes me sick.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, she says she really didn't have much say in this relationship. He was in control.
Mm-hmm.
Completely.
Well, he exercised all the power over her.
Right. You have not.
And that's probably why he was so quick to get her to move in.
Right. She was very young. 21 years old, and he's 30 years older. Her parents died when she's 18 years old, a senior in high school.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't have much to go by.
Right.
It didn't seem like she had a whole lot of friends that were helpful, or I think she had an aunt and uncle that took her in for a little while before Sean.
Yeah.
But she kept running to different men, and they just couldn't tolerate that. So, she's tolerating all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And, does she know any other way? I don't know. I don't know how it was for her.
Yeah.
But in the winter of 2019, anywhere between November the 1st and somewhere in December 31st of 2019, Sean brings Jennifer Paxton to the house. He tells her,
Wait. Where did he meet her?
that It's unclear. I would think maybe at the bar.
At the bar,
Maybe
yeah.
at the bar that he worked at.
Yeah.
And Rebecca claims she's at the house,
Mm-hmm.
and in walks Jennifer Paxton. She is confused. Rebecca's confused. Like, what? Who's this? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And Jennifer's making up a bed for herself, and Sean has told her she could move in. So Jennifer goes into the kitchen and fixes something to eat, and then goes upstairs and showers.
Mm-hmm.
And while she's up in the shower, Sean tells Rebecca, or asks Rebecca, "Do you want to kidnap her?" Now, Rebecca says she had no say. It didn't matter what she said.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to do whatever he wanted to.
Yeah.
Jennifer comes back downstairs after her shower, and she's in the kitchen. She eats a little bit, and Sean points to a baseball bat in the corner of the room beside the back door. And he's telling Jennifer about it. I don't know what he's saying about it, but he's talking about this baseball bat.
Yeah.
And Rebecca says next thing she knows, he has picked up the baseball bat, and he starts beating Jennifer in the head with it and over her body with it.
So, I mean, they're just sitting around shooting the proverbial shit.
Yeah.
And he starts talking about this bat. And then next thing you know, he's beating her with it in front of Rebecca.
Okay. And so, I mean, I don't know how kinky, I don't know what they're into, but this is real messed up.
Yeah.
Jennifer is being beat up, and Rebecca is just helpless.
Mm-hmm.
And says she's in shock, and Sean turns around to Rebecca and says, "Go get my mother from coming downstairs. She's about to take her medicine. Go stop her."
Mm-hmm.
And the dynamic between Rebecca and Mom,
yeah.
I don't think was that great. Rebecca said they didn't really, it was okay. They had their days.
Yeah.
So Rebecca goes up and she tells Mom to stay in her room.
So, you know what that tells me?
What's that tell you?
This woman has seen this going on before.
Sure.
And she's probably disgruntled that she has to put up with this guy bringing these women into the house.
It seems that way, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, that right there tells me that, his mother's been dealing with this for a long time.
Oh yeah. And Rebecca says, stay in your room. You don't want to see what's going on out here.
Yeah.
And me personally, if it was my child, oh, the hell. Well, first of all, you're not going to be living with me when you're 51 years old with a bunch of women coming in and doing all these things. But she just goes to her room and shuts the door.
Mm.
Rebecca goes back downstairs, and when she gets down there, Sean and Jennifer are then in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer has the screen to the fireplace over top of her head, which is doing no good, really. And she says she's still in shock. She goes in the kitchen and gets some things to clean up some of the blood around Jennifer and Sean.
Mm-hmm.
And Sean yanks down Jennifer's pants and pulls off her top and starts saying, why don't you shave?
Mm-hmm.
Degrading her.
Mm-hmm.
And screaming at her, and he's irate. And
again, knowing full well the mother's hearing all this.
But she has to. Come on. And I don't even know if she's still around, but during this testimony, I didn't, why wasn't she brought in? She's mostly on hospice, but if she was on hospice, how was she going up and downstairs to get her medicine?
Yeah.
Makes no sense. Anyway.
Yep.
So Sean tells Rebecca, help me get Jennifer upstairs. So they take her upstairs to their bedroom, right beside Mom's. Okay. Right beside it.
Mm-hmm.
And they chain her to the bed, padlock her. And he has the key. Sean has the key. Okay. So she's bleeding everywhere. She's very bad hurt, but she's still there, still alive.
Mm-hmm.
And Sean forces Jennifer to perform oral on him.
Mm-hmm.
And he was unable to finish. So he's making Rebecca watch all this, she says.
Mm-hmm.
And he then forces her to finish that for him.
Yeah.
Right there. with Jennifer.
Yep.
And then he goes to, and then, so after all this, he goes to work. Okay. He goes to work and he's working all these hours and days go by and Rebecca's there with her.
Mm-hmm.
She is being tortured. I mean, during this time, Jennifer is being tortured and Rebecca is not making any moves to do anything about that.
Yeah.
She says she gives her a little bit of water and she gives her smoke breaks, which, I mean, come on.
Smoke breaks.
Smoke breaks. Yeah, I let her smoke.
So did Jennifer continue continue to endure abuse from Rebecca while he was gone to work?
It seems that way. Rebecca denies that. She tries to act like
Well, she obviously didn't make any moves to get out of there or get help.
So she says she never had access to the key to get, which big fucking deal. You know,
You'd be busting a door down.
Walk out the door.
Window.
Right.
Wow.
It makes me wonder if Sean didn't bring her in for maybe a, three-way thing kind of deal. And Rebecca may have been jealous
Mm-hmm.
and done it. They both did it. They both did it.
Yeah.
Well, days go by and they keep her alive, torturing Jennifer. I mean, using objects on her, every kind of bodily fluid again on Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
They were engaging in intercourse above her and beside her and feeding her and just, it was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unclear of how many days went by. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So one day, Sean comes home from work, Rebecca says, and he has a bag full of like towels and cleaning supplies. Yeah. Cleaning supplies. And she says, I know then that this was the day that Jennifer was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
So she follows Sean upstairs and they get Jennifer in the shower. After the shower, they put her on the bed and Rebecca comes and sits on the side of the bed and Sean and her both start to strangle Jennifer with a shoelace.
Mm-hmm.
One holding one side, one holding the other. And this went on for hours. They would bring her very close to death and then release, smoke a little bit, And Rebecca's saying this whole time that Sean's making her watch all this
Mm-hmm.
and that she couldn't do anything. But remember, he's gone 12 hours during the day.
Mm-hmm.
There's another person there. Yeah, you're right. She had to have known. Mom had to have known.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way. Unless she was just morbidly ill.
Well, but you said earlier, and he had mentioned that she was mobile.
Right.
And she had her facilities about her.
Sure.
During part of this, at least.
And like I said, we don't know how long this went on.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rebecca's saying that while they're doing this and they're taking their breaks, choking her, strangling her, at one point, she said, Sean got up to empty the ashtray. He wouldn't let her empty the ashtray. What are they smoking?
Yeah.
I mean, what's going on
Yeah.
with the smoking? And they're letting, she wasn't allowed to leave the room. But Sean gets up at one point and goes and dumps the ashtray. And she realizes that that's it for Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer's taking her last breaths. So Rebecca gets down on her knees and whispers to her, goodbye, Jennifer.
Good Lord.
Right. Like it's a friend and she's angel of death or something. I mean, come on.
That's just her sadistic ways, probably.
Right. Anyway, so Sean leaves for work, comes back the next day, and they end up taking Rebecca downstairs. So they had taken a big bag and putting Jennifer in this freezer downstairs. And it wasn't in the kitchen. I guess it was in the living room or the front way.
Mm-hmm.
But they had taken the refrigerator and turned the door to face the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody would get in it.
Yeah.
Time goes by and he's Sean is getting very paranoid, according to Rebecca. So they take Jennifer out of the freezer and they move the freezer upstairs to their bedroom. And they put the freezer in the closet, run an extension cord, put the freezer in the closet, and bring Jennifer up and put her back in the freezer. One day, Rebecca was taking a shower. She gets out of the shower and goes into the bedroom, and Sean's in there with the freezer door open. And it was a stand-up freezer.
Mm-hmm.
So she could see that he had the freezer door open and the bag was open. She could see Jennifer. She said he had cut off her nose and her intimate parts,
Mm-hmm.
and that aroused him. And that made him force Rebecca to perform on him. So sick as you can imagine. Okay.
Yeah.
And during this time, Rebecca claims that Sean is he's paranoid and he's getting more violent.
Mm-hmm.
And he's starting to tell her family or asking for help, asking friends, telling neighbors, and finally gets to one of the neighbors. This neighbor's noticing bruises and, her demeanor, Rebecca's demeanor.
Yeah.
And she asked Rebecca, will you let me help you get into a shelter? Rebecca says yes. She's ready to go. So they set up a meeting outside of town to meet with somebody to get her to Rebecca to a shelter.
Mm-hmm.
And when the neighbor and Rebecca arrived to this meeting spot, the lady from the shelter did not show up.
Oh, Lord.
And Rebecca breaks down. And this is when she tells her neighbor that there's a body in her freezer and starts telling her everything. Well, the neighbor's like, well, you're not going to a shelter.
Yeah. You're going to jail.
We're going to go talk to the police.
Yeah.
And that's what led them to August 5th of 2020 when the police go into this apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And they find Jennifer Paxton
Mm-hmm.
falling and dismembered and under the bed of Sean and Rebecca Dishman.
Mm-hmm. So what happened with Rebecca? I mean, did she get charged with anything?
Oh yeah. So Rebecca turned state on this, and to get out of the death penalty,
Yeah.
she had to become the witness.
Yeah.
And they offered her life plus 50 years. The 50 years is for essaying a minor child. I don't know the backstory behind that. I just know they pinned that onto this charge.
Mm-hmm.
So she's got life plus 50 years for testifying. Sean Finnegan, he was sentenced to death last week.
Well,
Yes.
how old was Jennifer? How old was the victim?
36 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's strange that there's probably another facet to Rebecca's story, and she got life plus 50 years.
So they knew she wasn't that innocent.
Right.
And it goes to show that just because you're a witness in something, you don't have to take everything off the table. I mean, you're getting life.
Yeah.
What you did is
Yeah.
is beyond comprehensible even.
Yeah.
Like how do you become that much of a victim of someone?
Yeah. Well, and it just that those trials went really fast. I mean, there wasn't any dispute
Absolutely
in
not.
either hers or John's trial.
And I think that's a pretty good standard in Tennessee. I mean, Jennifer Paxton did not have a very good life.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was taken away from her, her dignity, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And at least in her death, she was absolutely given justice. I mean, Sean Finnegan, he's getting the death penalty.
Yeah.
And sidekick Rebecca Dishman is getting life.
Well,
Plus
what I think about is Jennifer traded a night of probably going out and having fun, drinking a little bit, or, just getting out and going into this bar. I don't think she walked in this bar out of desperation.
Well, no, and
If that's the case.
if she was even in that bar, he could have been driving home and just lured her in.
Yeah.
You know, the things she did for money, were not always probably the best things or the best choices.
Mm-hmm.
It was winter. We're looking at cold
Yeah.
during COVID. She was homeless and they offered her a place to live.
Yeah. And so this was in the area of Oak Ridge and Knoxville, Tennessee.
Right.
And, what I'll say about that area, Oak Ridge has one of the highest populations of the most educated people in the United States.
Wow.
I mean, the count of engineers there is just unbelievable. But not just that, physicists. I mean, we're talking about some highly educated people that live in and operate around Oak Ridge. And it's a beautiful part of Tennessee too,
Sure.
So this is a very storied and historic community in Tennessee, just about 20 minutes from Knoxville. Buried in the hills up there. That's why it was what it was. It was the home of the R&D for the Manhattan Project. And so the atomic bombs that effectively ended World War II were more or less conceptualized there and in New Mexico, but Oak Ridge's role in it was to refine uranium and plutonium for the weapons themselves.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I mean, Oak Ridge is a very high end area.
Well, this is a very screwed up case.
Yeah.
The only thing good that come out of it, like I said, is they did set a standard
Mm-hmm.
that I feel like a lot of Tennessee needs to be following.
Yeah.
We're not gonna judge this victim
Mm-hmm.
for the bad things that happened to her.
Mm-hmm.
But look, when it comes to Rebecca Dishman and Sean Finnegan, and I'm sorry, Mom, come on, that lived in this 2-bedroom apartment, bedroom right beside each other.
Yeah.
It could have been a week. See, Rebecca Dishman did say, this went on for about a week. But then there was a time when she said this went on for months. Were they keeping Jennifer alive just to torture her and do these?
Well, I mean, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like when he was there, the damage was being done, and then she would nurse her through it during the day, and he would come back and here we go again. And again, if his mother was able to get up and down and take her meds and stuff,
Right.
during, even if it was just a week.
Couldn't have been on hospice either, because wouldn't there be nurses there?
Not necessarily. I mean,
Really?
yeah. I mean, it may have just been that she had a terminal illness and was taking drugs to, get through whatever her problem was.
And see, Sean Finnegan, his only defense was to say, look, I'm scared of Rebecca Dishman. I'm scared of her.
Mm-hmm.
She's crazy. She stabbed me one time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it. I mean, what else can you go with?
Yeah.
I mean, Mom did it. I mean,
no.
Well, I don't know. He could have.
Yeah. But put yourself in the neighbor's shoes for a minute. I mean, what does your gut and heart do when somebody says something like that and it's just you and them?
Oh, I would have been terrified. No wonder. And I think the neighbor took Rebecca straight to the police. I mean, like, you're going now.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me what happened on the way? I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah. And Rebecca Dishman was very soft-spoken on the stand. Played a very good role of being a victim.
Mm-hmm.
Very vulnerable. Like, it was very, I don't know. And I'm not buying it because
It sounds like she had multiple personalities.
you could have walked out that door, right? You could have walked out that door and told a neighbor, call 911. I mean, anything.
Yeah.
She had free reign. I mean, even when she was being abused, she would go do laundry at this neighbor's house.
Mm-hmm.
And she was able to go over there and use the phone, use this neighbor's, phone to get on Facebook and to message family for help, and nobody wanted to help her. And that's sad that, there are people that can't get any help.
Yeah.
But now I know Jennifer's family did testify, and it's that they're very happy about the outcome of this. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there was justice for them, for Jennifer and for them,
Mm-hmm.
unlike in many places in Tennessee that
Yeah.
we've covered. So, but it's still, it's horrifying.
Yeah.
I didn't even know how I was going to cover this, today. I didn't know how I was going to talk about this because it's so
Sickening.
right. And I mean, you can even go back. Y'all can even go back and watch some of the testimony. Yeah. And you'll see, what I mean when I say that Rebecca Dishman was very soft spoken and played that part very well. But it seems to me like you had hours and days that went by that you could have done something for Jennifer and you chose not to. So,
Well, at least we see an example out of Tennessee where justice is done, and we definitely appreciate law enforcement for getting there and doing that. Unfortunately, Jennifer found herself in circumstances where nobody was able to or willing to help. So, again, that brings me to I want to say to people, if you see something, say something,
Yeah.
even if it's sending us an email or leaving a comment under one of our episodes. We appreciate you attending and watching, and most assuredly that you share these videos or podcasts wherever you find them. We're available on Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and several others. I think we're on 14 platforms now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So again, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and hit that notifications bell. But most importantly, please share to your friends, and hopefully we keep everybody on notice that it's time to say something if you suspect something going
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
So we'll see you again next week.
See y'all.
Take care.